welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I'm Lauren if you didn't already know. Today this video is on first year psychology, and more specifically at University of Birmingham, because you know that's where I go. I had a few questions from my review of my first year about the course. A lot of the same questions as well, because most people wanting to know about the lecturers and the modules and if the course is just good in general. So, and also how it's like assessed and how the process of learning goes, I guess. So I thought I'll just go through the year, break it all down as quickly as I can, because I'm aware this video could be very, very long. So I planned for it, and I'm hoping that I'll keep it as short as I can. So I'm gonna stop waffling on at this introduction. Yeah, let's just get on with it. But to answer a general question of is the course good, it is. It's BPS accredited. It's BPS accredited. There we go. BPS stands for the British Psychological Society. You have year abroad options, which is between your second and third year. So you've got your first year, second year, then you do year abroad as like your third year, and then you've got your final year. And it's research-led teaching as well, which is kind of handy because you know then you get the real feel for it if you want to go into that research area of it afterwards. So yeah, I would say it's good. Most universities for psychology courses are BPS accredited. The modules for at least the first year should be roughly the same, if not the same. So the modules that I did first year was Research Methods A, Introduction to Psychobiology, Learning, and then in the second term I did Research Methods B, Cognitive Psychology and Developmental Psychology. When I was doing like a little planning for this video, I went on to the University of Birmingham website to see what modules are down for the first year coming up for 2020 to 21, and they actually changed the modules a little bit. So the ones that are the same are Research Methods A and B, Psychobiology and Cognitive. They changed Developmental Psychology, they changed the name of it to Lifespan Psychology, is that right? Yep, I don't know why they changed it, but there we go. And then they scrapped Learning and put in two other modules instead, which is Developing Skills for Psychologists number 1 and Developing Skills for Psychologists 2. So I'm going to go through the ones that obviously are the same and tell you what they kind of include and how they're assessed and the lecturers that I had for those. And yeah, I'll kick off with the Research Methods A. One moment, I need a drink. Okay, it's quite similar to A-level psychology for the research methods in the fact that you go over the different methods involved in psychology, you go over hypotheses, types of participant groups, variables, ethics, and then there's also 2 practicals that you do, which are part of the coursework and they make up part of your grade for that year, and it's basically you apply what you've learned so far in that module to your work, and it's like a report, and as you go through the course you build up on making it more of a proper psychological report, whereas those 2 in the first Research Methods A are kind of just little ones. And then we also have computer labs. You learn how to write in APA format, which is the, what is it, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's specific for psychology. You know how you have like Harvard referencing and Vancouver and whatever? APA is a style of writing and referencing, so psychology, we need to know that. And also you get an introduction to SPSS. Again, I don't know what it stands for, I've forgotten, but it's basically computer software where you analyse statistics, and you use that in the Research Methods B module more, but this is like an introduction to it. There's also this thing, this might just be a UOB thing, I'm not too sure, but so there's the Research Participation Scheme, or RPS for short, and you basically, for part of the credits of that module, you have to take part in third year students' studies for their dissertation, but you take part in it to gain credits for the module, and that's kind of it. You take part in their studies, doing whatever. There's EEG scans, there's simple watching videos and you give some answers, there's online questionnaires, things like that. So it's just helping the third year students get their data for their dissertations and stuff. But we also gain credits for it for this module and Research Methods B as well. And then there was also a class test at the end, which is kind of like a mini exam, I guess. Multiple choice, which again is a percentage of your grade, so it's that test plus the coursework of the reports that make up the grade for that module. Research Methods B is very similar in terms of it's a class test plus reports as your coursework, but the content for lectures is different. Again, it's quite similar to A-level research methods. Statistical tests, the 7 that we went through, 7 statistical... You look at 7 statistical tests. Look at parametric assumptions, how to choose the right test. That's kind of it for that one. There's obviously 7 tests, it's quite a lot to go through, so you go through 1 per each lecture. And in your computer labs again, you then apply what you learn in the lecture to carry out those tests in SPSS, which is a godsend, so you don't have to do it yourself. SPSS does it all for you once you've inputted the stuff and click a few things. The 2 practicals again, where you apply what you learn in the lecture to your study that you do in your tutor groups. Your tutor groups will have like 7 or 8 people, and you will have an assigned tutor or from the School of Psychology, and they will give you support through the 3 years or 4 years if you take a year abroad at the uni. But those groups are also who you do your practicals with, and also they'll be in the same computer labs as you as well. I had the same lecturer for Research Methods A and B. He was alright, he was good, yeah. He didn't record the lectures though, it was kind of annoying. He chose not to record them, which was his only downside really, otherwise he was fine. Cognitive psychology. This was a really interesting module, but it was quite confusing. It's just quite complicated and there's a lot of content. For cognitive psychology I had 2 different lecturers. One did 5 weeks at the start and 5 lectures, and then the other one did the other 5 lectures after that. One was way better than the other. I'm not going to say which one's which, but if you were in those lectures you will know who. The lectures included, I have them written down, visual perception, focused attention and visual search, attention disorders, executive functions, everyday memory, models of memory, long-term memory and language. Obviously the three of the ones that I mentioned at the end, they link to A-level psychology. Again, coursework, you do a report, and then there is meant to be a summer exam, however it obviously got cancelled. Coronavirus! Instead of doing the summer exam we did a multiple choice quiz, which had the same content as the exam would have, and obviously it was open book because we're at home. Psychobiology was probably one of the most interesting that we did, and it's kind of like an extension of biopsychology at A-level. It's kind of confusing a lot of the time, but once you get your head around it, it's kind of like, oh, okay. The lecturer was really good for this in terms of like explaining it and breaking it down, and all the lecturers, in fact, they also give you support in terms of they'll let you know when their office hours are if you want to go see them in person, or on Canvas, which is like where you all your modules on there, and that's where you send off all your assignments and whatever. And also there's a discussion board where you can ask questions for your lecturer and they answer them. And the lectures included neurons and the communications within and between neurons, learning, memory consolidation, reconsolidation and degeneration, synaptic plasticity, which you may recognise the name of from A-level psychology, and it's kind of just extension onto that, systems consolidation, pharmacology, drugs in the nervous system, emotion theories, neural mechanisms in emotions, emotion facial expressions.
1 hour later.
Oh, and we looked at PTSD and motivation concepts, Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. Yeah, I think it's quite a lot. There's loads of lectures because it's quite a hefty amount of credits. I think it's 20 credits. So you got 20 lectures. For coursework, instead of a report, it's an essay, and there's a class test again, which is another percentage of the grade. I feel like this is going to go on forever and I feel like it's kind of boring, but oh well. Moving on to developmental psychology, which has been renamed as lifespan psychology. No idea why. The lecturer was great for this though, honestly. My man, Rory Devine. Great lecturer. He sets it out so easily to follow and he makes it quite interesting, or really interesting. He also uses his own research that he's done in the lectures, so that's cool, very cool. Lectures include things like inside the mind of a child, children's understanding of numbers and right and wrong and other people's minds. They look at intelligence and parenting and attachment, again a little link to A-level psychology, antisocial behaviour in childhood, the autism spectrum disorders, yeah, and just like general themes and perspectives in developmental psychology. There's workshops for this one that help you do an essay for coursework, and there was again meant to be a summer exam which got cancelled, so we did another multiple choice quiz. And then learning, which I'm not really going to go into because if you're doing 2020 to 21 as your first year, you won't be doing learning apparently. So it was very, very boring though, so you're not really missing out on anything. It's probably why they got rid of it. It's very, very much A-level content, so yeah, you're not missing out. But the two new modules that they put in, which are developing skills for psychologists 1 and 2, I'll put a link in the description box for the website so you can read what that's about, because I don't actually know. But from the titles of them, you look at making, like applying, you look at case studies and scenarios and applying it to the role of a psychologist in the real world. I think that's kind of what the gist I got from it from the website. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description box for those. Is there anything else I would like to include? Oh, a question I got when I asked on Instagram, that's it, was if there's any optional modules. For first year there isn't any, and even for second year there isn't any either. They're all core modules, but third year you do have some optional ones. There's one core thing that you have to do, which is your practical, which is your dissertation, I'm pretty sure, and then there's optional modules to take. They are cutting them down apparently because of Corona, which I'm hoping they'll be able to ramp it back up again by the time I'm in third year, because I don't want them to get rid of the very few modules that I actually wanted to take for third year, but we shall see. In terms of methods of learning, there's obviously, as I mentioned before, Canvas, where you can log in and see all your modules and send off your assessments and stuff, but also you can find the PowerPoints for your lectures, and also there's a link for Panopto, which is where all the recordings of lectures are, if your lecturer does record them, and also Canvas will show the recommended reading that your lecturer will suggest you do. Oh yeah, and the tutor meetings, they will happen. I had mine every other week because that's what my tutor wanted to do, but I think most other tutor groups kind of met once a month or something like that. I really like my tutor, she's nice. Yeah, she's funny. But yeah, I really like my psychology course. It's really interesting. Obviously some lecturers are better than others, but that's kind of just how their teaching style varies, and how it suits you best. But I've had so much support through uni being dyslexic. They've given me some really good help, and actually my tutor that I have is dyslexic as well, so she's been really helpful and supportive for that. All the lecturers know their stuff really well. You can tell they've been doing it for years. I can't imagine myself doing any other course. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you oily skin. Thank you very much for watching this video all the way to the end if you did make it. If you did like this video or found it useful or whatever, give it a big thumbs up. If you have any more questions about psychology at UOB, please put them down below and I'll answer them as best as I can. If you want to see more stuff from me, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in another video.